morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. For those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Felice Montero. I'm the Council on Aging Director here. And please continue. If you're not finished with your breakfast, feel free to continue eating as I'm speaking and our presenter is doing his presentation. But this morning we have a very special person here with us. Patrick Wooten is a Hurricane Katrina transplant. He has been inborn since 2005, and he, came to us because he'd like to talk about his experiences and his journey from Louisiana to Vaughan, and we are most happy to have him here. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Patrick Wooten.
But I got the poster boards up. I'm born and raised from New Orleans. Never ever thought that I would have came up here to the state of Massachusetts. Through the grace of God, I think that from when I got rescued, I had to flag down a helicopter and stuff. And by me flagging a helicopter down, then brought me from the convention center, to the airport. It's like I wound up losing two of my homes. I lost 12 people in my family. But like the body is gone, but the spirit is gone. And it's like I never ever thought that I would be like the spokesperson for everybody to ride from New Orleans in the state of Massachusetts. I've done a presentation speech at Harvard University with Ted Kennedy and Mitt Romney, and spoke at numerous of places. I first met Ted Kennedy when the plane arrived up, first flight, that's the one I got on, arrived up at Orders Air Force. And that picture here shows you that I met Ted Kennedy and his wife. And this one here shows I spoke at the State House and I met Mitt Romney and his wife. But I spoke at several places, and and thank God that I still here to live to speak about it. And so it's been 10 years ago, and it's like everybody think that it's all fine and dandy down in New Orleans. The only place where it's nice and fine is in the city, the suburbs, for tourists and everything like that. But on the outskirts of it, it's still a disaster for a lot of families. You got like 3 to 4 miles underneath a bridge down in New Orleans. If you ever go down there to visit it, you will see they have people that's living underneath the bridge. And so what I'm doing, I'm being that voice, for a lot of people down in New Orleans that's still struggling here and there. But it's like, sometimes people just give up. But I thank God, they give me the strength, to carry this on. So it's not too much of, like it's donating the money, but the main thing is like with prayers. That's something you cannot buy. So, if you pray for the people that's still struggling here and there, what I'm saying, it motivates them to go forward in life. So that's what I'm doing. Like, because I don't spoke at numerous of places, so these are things that I'm going to continue to do. I know I'm going to be success of doing what I'm doing. So it's a pleasure, that y'all taking the time to come here to hear me. I really appreciate all this. And by this, it builds my character and my spirit up to keep doing what I'm doing. Like so. So if y'all have anything you'd like to ask me, I would be glad to ask. And plus, one of the things I'm one of New Orleans' finest cooks. Yeah. So if y'all like Creole Cajun meals, trust me, I would gladly fix that for you. But the thing about it, before you try my food, I hope y'all locate a good attorney. The reason why I say that is because I can guarantee the very next day you talk Creole Cajun, you eat my cooking. Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
I can remember when that hurricane was, and it's just about over. The Coast Guard from Otis had sent a whole crew down there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were one of the first ones there. And I I saw them coming back after they had done their duty down there. They were all on the highway. I couldn't believe how many of them from Otis were part of that.
Yeah. It's like when the storm, like, the very, after, when the water and everything was trying to settle down, and it's like a lot of people came in to rescue us and help us. Then with Bush and FEMA, they said, wait, hold up, don't go in there just yet. And everybody said, what you mean don't go in there, these people need help. And it's like, I have a document tape on it, they're telling me that I would play this for y'all. But it was more disaster than anything. It was more crazy than anything, but sometimes, it's like they say only the strong survive. But what ended up happening with me, I was at my mother's house, and my wife, she was down like 14 miles at her parents' place. And so I had to, after the storm, I had to walk through the water, like waist to chest high, to go rescue her and stuff like that. And I had to, before I got there, I had to stop and help all these other families and stuff like that. And you're talking about something that's crazy, I was saying like, whoa. Like a lot of times you can see it on TV and stuff, on movies, but once you really been there, living that life and been through it, it's nothing at all like just being on a movie. It was real. So, I went through a lot. Yeah.
When you got up here, did you find that there was sufficient services to help you get into temporary settlements and maybe possibly find jobs and that sort of thing?
Yes.
Was that part of the program? I know a lot of people volunteered to help out over at Otis to get everyone settled down, but did that go relatively smoothly?
It went, like from the beginning of it,
Yeah.
Like everything, like when I got off the plane and stuff, they thought I was going to New Orleans Saints player. I told them no, but within that time, you had to sign your name, all these different papers and stuff. I told them at the moment I couldn't do nothing because I was so much, went through so much, and I had told them I needed to talk to somebody, to get all the frustration out of it. And then after that, then I signed the papers, and so yeah, they had helped us by me losing 2 homes, 12 people in my family, and wind up, they assist us like with Section 8 and things like that. But by me working 22 years on the drilling rig, I never would assume that I would ever deal with a Section 8 Social Security and all this and that. Because I love to work, and the thing about it is like, excuse me, and I prefer to do the things that I love to do. I never want to assist any type of assistant. I like to stay working, get back where I was at. But sometimes you have to take your time to crawl, get back where you was at. So, but the thing about it, I'm so happy, that the people up here, took the time to give us these things. But by losing so much that you had, and to start back over from scratch, it wasn't quite that easy.
No, I would understand that. You did lose a lot, family-wise and so forth. We could see it on the news, but as bad as it was, I'm sure it was worse.
Yeah, it was kind of a lot worse than what it really was. But the thing about it, though, is like how worse it was, but it's like you have to be that strong a person. It's like to build your confidence back up, to say, hey, I'm not going to let this tear me down. I'm going to go forward, to reach my goals where I was at first. And so, like, these are the things that I'm doing, And it's like the tears that I'm sharing today is more tears of joy, that I'm here, and that I can speak, you know what I'm saying, still for the people that's down there, because a lot of people don't have the guts and the spirit, you know, within themselves, because they still torn down, that they just throwing the towel. I said, that's not me. I said, the ones that's throwing the towel, I just let them know, hey, you ain't got to worry about it. They have somebody here to speak for them mostly. And these are things that I want to do. Yeah. And I know, like, a lot of times, a lot of people been in the service, they lost a lot, you know, things like that, you know, so it gives me that same motivation and high spirit. And I look back at a lot of y'all, say, hey, you know, y'all been through, you lost friends and everything like that too. You know, you just got to hold your head up high and just keep going forward. And, you know, and the doors will open up for you. So that's how I see life. Yes, sir.
All the damage Katrina did as of 10 years ago, is it all built up today?
Certain areas.
Normal?
Not everything. So they done the when they done the 10-year on the CNN news, they had showed that the city is up and running in certain areas of homes, you know. But the thing about it that what a lot of people don't know of, a lot of people own their own home, like homes around here. Say if it happened around here, you had a home and it was passed through your family on down. Then a bad storm comes. Then everything is wiped out. But you want to build back on your home. But down in New Orleans, like in these certain areas now, here come Richie Rich coming along and taking these people, their land from them and building up on top of that. But these other people say they want to build their own place, build it back together. But if they don't have the money to talk behind it, you know, they just lost out. So a lot of people had lost out on their homes down there and stuff like that. And so that's why they got a lot of living underneath the bridge and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, it ain't good, you know. So it's like, the way I look at it, you know, it's messed up how they done it like that. But the spirit of God, you know what I'm saying, he's going to make a way that these people do get back. Because they got now people on bought their land, took their land, built up on their land. And they're saying that now, all for them to move back, and they own their property, where these people build up, they jack the rent up so high and everything else. And a lot of people down there, they're struggling and stuff, trying to find work here and there. But they say they want to go back home. But then somebody else built up on top of their land, they say it's no longer yours. And, you know, that's kind of messed up. But that's going on, like, you know, that's practically like anywhere in the world, like if they had a bad disaster, that you would see that happen to a lot of people.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Why did it take the government so long to tell you people to get out?
It's like, within that time, it's like, it took like a week. We seen on the news that the hurricane was coming through. So then it's like, when the days coming counting down, then some people leaving, but sometimes, like, if you went through a hurricane, you know, so many times, you know, you say it's just like a regular hurricane that's coming. So some people set it out, and some people say, no, it's worse than, you know, so I wind up sitting it out. So I said, I done went through so many here and there, but they never knew that it was going to wind up turning out to be this long and this worse. And the thing that made it so worse, that when people came from around the world, from different states, to come to help us, they had the roadblocks so that people cannot come to help us. So they got the okay through the president and FEMA and everything. And so they held it back. Everybody said, what's your problem? Why y'all doing this? You know, then other people, like, were trying to cross over the bridge to a more higher land. And when that happened, they were shooting people down to say, you can't come over here. So they have all this document, you know. They say, people say, hey, we are from the USA, so why are y'all treating us like this? You know, we're not refugees. You know, we here, born and raised in the state, you know, from this country, you know, like that. So it's like, you know, but I tell you, one day at a time, and just constantly building myself up, you know, to go forward. like I was sitting at the table with these young men, you know, right here. I'm saying to myself, what, you know, what my goal is, what I want to do. And I worked like 22 years being on the platform, on a drilling rig. So what I want to do up this way, is like go by getting my, I have a, what they call is a twig card. Now I got to get my merchant card, because I want to work like on a tanker boat, or a cargo ship or something like that. So I'm supposed to be speaking come next January or February, sometime at the Maritime. And so I'm trying to, you know, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. So trying to get myself plugged in to get my document papers, you know, to go back out on the ship or something like that. Yeah, because I know once I have that, because I can like get my 2 daughters that's in New Orleans for my grandkids and stuff, you know, to get them up here. So I call this from down New Orleans, from disaster to success, being up this way, and I can go, you know, move forward. Because the rest of my family down in New Orleans like that, and they say they want to sit there. They say home is home down that way, and I say your home is where you're more happy and content, and I'm more happy and content being up this way. Yeah.
How many people are in your family?
I have my mom, my brother, my mom, my 3 other brothers, and my mother's brothers and sisters like that, would wind up losing 12 of them right after the storm. It's like my grandmother, she was like in a living assistant home, and that got flooded out and all in the area. Like if you can see like right here, all this waterfalls you can see. And this one here tell you from Boston all the way down to the to Chatham up in the tip. That's just how bad the flood had happened if it wouldn't have happened up here. So it's like it's you know, it's very bad here and there, you know, but it's like like that's like certain places I had cooked that Cranberry's Tea Room in Carver, excuse me. And I did a lot of different Roadhouse Cafe, Hyannas, and stuff like that. So I cooked that plus with the Kennedys and stuff like that. But I looked at focused more on positive as I went through so much bad things. People say, how can you always have that good outcome within you? I said, well, as though the bodies of my family is gone, but their spirit lives on. So I take that spirit of the positive, keep it within myself, along with the grace of God, just continue to go forward. Because like, you know, it's like so many people don't have it within themselves to do the things like this. So you got to have a good outcome of it. And so this is my positive outcome of these things here. So that's how I see it.
Did you say your mother's up here with you?
Now, my mom, she's still in New Orleans, but my mother's mother, you know, was in a nursing home down there. And what had happened with that, the doctors, it was so flooded, they were so busy trying to save their families and stuff, they eject my grandmother and 280-something people down there, elderly people, they ejected them or something and killed them like that. So my mom, she just won her case out of 9 years. So she had a case going on, and she just won the case. So she sued the nursing home and the doctors and everything that had their hands involved in that. Yeah.
You gonna stay here?
Oh, I love it up here. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, I always tell my family, I say, come on back home. I said, well, I'm at home, you know, and I said, I'm going to sit there and get back where I was at, you know, back working on the water and stuff like that. I said, there's a will and a way. You know, if you got that big positive outcome of it, you know, I always have within myself, I'm going to achieve it, I'm going to conquer it, I'm going to be successful with it. So by me having it within myself, I know I'm going to do it. So it's nothing that's going to turn me around and take it away from me, because I'm going to go forward to conquer it. And the ones that think that I cannot be successful with it, once I conquer it, then I go back to the ones that say, hey, you thought I couldn't do it, I had it. It's all about the willpower to not giving up. It's the willpower to keep going forward. That's the way I see it.
Survive the winter too.
Oh, I love the snow. But the reason I can see, like, with the snow up here is like, at least you can dress up for it, you know, dress up or dress down. But when it's hot, you know, what could you really do? You know? So it's like down south, you know, the humid is so bad, you know, but up this way it's like you got your full season. So it's like, I don't like it up here, I love it up here. Stuff like that. So, you know, that's like I'm trying to get my kids, you know, back up this way. You know, say, hey, but down south, you know, there's so much crime and things like that. So it's like, I want to get them from there to get them up here. Yeah.
And more crime.
So I know for sure everything will be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I really appreciate, you know, that y'all have the time to listen to me, you know, talk, you know, to hear my say on this. It means a lot. Yeah, it really does.
Oh, you got a good attitude too.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
All the money that was raised for Katrina and disaster and everything, has that already been dispersed?
But that money,
Are they still holding back on a lot of it?
it's like with any other disaster, like, you know, people put so much money out there, they help a lot of families, you know, for the people. Instead of they going in the right hand, it went into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's all.
they got the guy that Ted McGuire that helped me with this, you know, and I've been knowing him since I got up here. So when I done the 10th year one with him, so I have a fundraising going for it's like a motorcycle club that helps a lot of people that's, you know, family that's struggling here and there, help them with burial grounds, you know, when people cannot afford to bury their family. So they raise the money up and to help kids, you know, with computers and trying to get them off the streets to get him in the motivation of good things. So I had asked, you know, he had asked me, hey, Pat, why don't you let me do something like this for you? I said, no problem. So he's got, you know, now I'm glad, at first, you know, like certain things I didn't know how to go by doing this, where to get the money being donated to. So I had the money, I told him, let's get it going towards the Insane Hunters in Algiers, New Orleans, and towards the bike club to help the kids, battered women, and stuff like that. You say, okay, let's get it going. So me thinking that this guy gonna have this money, so instead of it going to me, it went towards him. So he went down to us. I'm calling. I said, hey, did this guy bring y'all the money yet? Or did you get the money? Did you get the money? He said, no. I said, did he contact y'all? No. So I'm calling him and say, bro, what's happening? Did you? Oh, I'm gonna get it to him. And all of a sudden, they really didn't get it. So that like answered the question, like all the money that people send. You know what I'm saying? You think you putting it towards, as though from yourself, you're putting it towards good deeds. But sending it to who is the one that's, where's it really going? But my intention is like, if I had it my way, you know, I would get like a fundraising thing going and get people that's from up here that's willing to travel with me to New Orleans and give it to the people that's, you know, that really need it. Like that, then they can see themselves where exactly where their funds going at. And they can see themselves when they come back, while they're down there, they can film it, take pictures, and they can send it up here and say, hey, this is what's happening, so we're putting it towards a good use over here. Don't send it to here, put it towards somebody that's really going to use it to help these people out. Like that. So that's the way I'm trying to, you know, get with somebody that can work with me to set something up. You know, hey, you can do it this way, and this the right way how to go by doing it. So if that's so, then I would be glad to, you know, to take that advice, you know what I'm saying, and deal with somebody that can help me to get the money going the right way to the right people. Like so, but I don't want to like just, like I had confidence in this person here, thinking he was going to use it, but he used the money to go to New Orleans, but he went to the festival and everything like that, but he didn't put it towards the cost of the people that really need it. Like so.
How many people are in this area that come up down there?
It was 280 something people that arrived up at Otis. And within that period of time, like I don't went from riding around from New Bedford, Fall River, Hyannis, all along the Cape, you know, around the Salvation Army, asking them, do y'all know of anybody from New Orleans that's still up this way, that y'all, you know, help me find them and see what they going through or where they at or where they struggling at. And everybody said they couldn't find no one. I said, I know for sure they still have people up here, but it's like, then I thought I could reach them because they had like on K-Top Time newspaper, they had me on the front page, Born Enterprise, you know, on the radio station and, you know, stuff like that. I thought about people probably hearing me or reading upon me, you know, say, hold on, we need to get with this guy here that can help us. Like so. So if y'all probably know anybody that's working in that type of field, you know, I'd be glad, you know, get somebody to help me with it, yeah. You know, that's what I'm looking forward for, you know. It's not like that I'm looking and say, hey, this guy looking for money just for himself. No, it's not for me. It's for the people that's in need of it. The only thing what I'm asking of, you know, somebody, you know, like once I get my credentials and things to work on the tanker ship or something like that, if I get something like that, then, oh man, you just don't know. That'd be the hand I'm paying with right there. Yeah. And I can take my, you know, some of my money and donate it towards, you know, the cost of the people down there that's struggling. Because I like when I was in New Orleans, I always like going to the poor area, like, you know, the bayou and everything where people struggling at, and buy them things and stuff like that. So here you go. So it's your name, that's all that you have. You know, so it's your choice. If you want your name to be good, let it be good. If you want your name to be bad, it's going to be bad. So I look at more the outcome of being more on the positive side. And I can see that now, like when I went on the internet myself, I'm looking at it and say like, whoa, they got all these different places where I spoke at. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, it's a lot of places. And so I can get a book going and somebody write a book about my story, my life, what I went through and everything. And I said, like, this is good. So I can take that and put that towards people that's struggling here and there. So if it would be a time that it's something like what happened to me, you know, at least somebody say, hey, I remember that guy. You know, it's like it's your name. He's doing was things that's in positive ways and things that going forward with him. You know, it's not just thinking of himself. And you know, so like if you think, so I'm thinking more not of myself, but of everybody else. So it's like if anything were to happen, another disaster were to happen, something like this, it would take the next person that they can look at my story and check it and say, hey, if this guy went through it and he didn't give up, you know, he says he's going to conquer it, he's going to be successful with it and achieve it. So that's like, I hope other people can look at this and say, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. Like that. So I really do see more of a good thing about this. But when I spoke at Harvard, in the State House, around a lot of people, it's like, it was not, I didn't have to write nothing down or read something from somebody else, because if you do something like that, it's not from you. So if you speak of it from your heart, you know what I'm saying, then a person knows this is what it's all about. And that's the way how I see it. That's life. good? All right, we good.
Thank you.
Thank you.